Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the book Inner Engineering, Yogi's Guide to Joy. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Let's begin. Okay, so this book was written by a man called Sadhguru. Okay, I'm gonna start. Human life is longing for the highest expansion, the limitless of joy and freedom, which are natural byproducts of this state. In Eastern cultures, as in India, this longing have been culturally recognized as the highest goal of all human activity and endeavor denoted as Mukti. The author says that we're the most comfortable generation ever to have lived on the planet. We have fixed the outside environment so much that any more fixing and there will be no more planet left. But are we any happier, any more loving, more peaceful? Time to fix not the outer but the inner. The only way out is in. So now I'm going to talk about the concept of responsibility. One can transform any adversity into a stepping stone for personal growth. If only one were to accept, I'm responsible for the way I am now, and stop blaming parents, friends, husband, girlfriend, circumstance, and anyone and anything else. So now I'm going to talk about yoga. Patanjali Yoga Sutras begin with the mysterious line, and now yoga. When one is done with every other acquisition, achievement, accumulation, and taught with all sorts of experience, and still left feeling empty, then one is ready for yoga. Yoga is not simply a practice or science or a set of exercise, it's far deeper. The science of yoga is the science of being in perfect alignment, in absolute harmony, in complete sync with existence. Yoga tells us that we are composed of 5 layers. Number 1, the food body, the product of all the nourishment ingested. Number 2, mental body, the reason why what affects the body affects the mind, and vice versa. Number 3, energy body. If the fears too are linked to hardware and software, this layer is the quality power that they need to be switched into. Number 4, etheric body. This is the dimension beyond the sense perceptions. A layer of extraordinary knowledge. Those that report near-death experience have slipped into this state. And number 5, bliss body. A dimension that is totally beyond the physical, cannot be described or defined, but can only be experienced. One touches this dimension, blissfulness is guaranteed. To experience well-being, all one needs is a certain mastery over the first 3 layers. The food, the mind, and the energy, okay? Yoga, in the real sense, is an empirical system that works at aligning the body, emotions, intelligence, and energy. So now moving to part 2. In the second section of the book, the author explains the mind-body energy trio through concept practices and self-observation practices. The author urges the readers to experiment and not to take anything on pure faith. Okay. The body is a pretty complete and self-contained instrument with the most sophisticated machinery. A banana that you eat in the morning has become you by the afternoon. There is deep intelligence at work. No wonder the body has been eulogized by mystic poets as the moving temple. There are 2 forces within one. The instinct of self-preservation roots one to the planet but also creates barriers. Desire to expand takes one beyond. Okay, so to use an analogy, it's the play of gravity with grace. One trying to hold you down and one is trying to lift you. Both are active while we are always available to one. We need to become available to grace. We perceive the world through sense organs, but they're limited in that they can perceive only the physical. They can perceive only in relation to something else, like hot and compared to cold. And they are instruments primarily meant for human survival. There is an entire world of activity happening inside the body. Just tuning inwards and paying attention to your inner nature can transform life remarkably. That brings one to the science of Hatha Yoga. It's the sun and moon, okay? A way of working with the body to discipline, purify, and prepare it for higher levels of energy and greater possibilities. If the body is maintained in a certain way, one can become aware of the subtle changes that happen in the planet and cosmos. Part of enhancing the sensitivity is to view the ingredients which constitutes our body, like earth, water, air, and food, as an organic part of the life process and not as commodities. The salute to the sun position builds a dimension within where the bodily cycles are in sync with the sun cycles. Remember, all life on earth is solar powered. This practice helps in balancing one's inner energies and produce an innate physical and psychological equilibrium. Women have an added advantage through, though misunderstood, of also being in sync with the lunar cycle. The yogi, the yogic system depends on the food we eat. For the body to function at its optimum capacity and maximize its longevity, Sadhguru recommends that at least some part of the diet should include natural foods in their uncooked condition. When cells are still alive. With regard to sleep, Sadhguru says that the body needs more restfulness than sleep. Restfulness essentially uh, defines the replenishing and rejuvenating capability of the human body. Stress is not because of work, it's a certain level of internal friction caused by our compulsive reaction toward the situation we are placed in. One can easily lubricate the inner mechanism with some amount of inner work and awareness. So I'm gonna talk about practices. Sit comfortably with the spine erect. Remain still and allow your attention to grow still as well. Do this for 5 to 7 minutes a day. You will notice that your breath will slow down. If the breath slows down from the average of 20 to 50 times per minute, one achieves a certain alignment and ease, and evolves to a state where one perceives higher dimensions without static or crack. When one is in touch with the earth, sitting on the ground, walking barefoot, gardening, farming, the human capacity for rejuvenation is enhanced and stability is restored. If one tends to fall ill easily, you could try sleeping on the floor, or sit closer to the ground, or spend time around the tree. Don't eat throughout the day. If you're over 30, best to have 2 meals a day. The simplest thing that one can do to change the way and structure of the body is to treat the 5 elements with devotion and dedication. The water you drink, the food you eat, the air you breathe, the land you walk on, and the very space that holds you. Okay, so that was the first 2 parts. 1 second. Now moving on to part 3. Yoga helps create a clear space between oneself and the mind. Once this happens, a life of heightened clarity, perception, and freedom begins. The biggest problem is one of excessive identification with our thoughts and labels. Being a Buddha means that you have become a witness to your intellect. In the yogic system, the mind has 16 dimensions, which are grouped into 4 categories. A dimension of intellect, memory, awareness, and Hankara, which is where we derive our sense of identity. Intellect crucial for survival. The essence of the intellect is to divide, therefore, it stands as a barrier between one and experience of oneness of life. Your intellect gets identified with something and then gives you a completely distorted experience of life. Awareness is intelligence completely unsullied by memory. This deep dimension of the mind connects you to the very basis of creation. As you pitch it up further, where new dimensions of existence open up. When the intellect is dipped in a cumulative dimension, it draws distorted conclusions over things and lead to joylessness. When the intellect is dipped in awareness instead, you learn to discern what is existentially true from what is psychologically true, and you learn to live with creation rather than manufacture up your own creation. But you cannot do by awareness. If you keep your body, thought, emotion, and energy properly aligned, it will blossom on its own. If you plant a seed and sprout it with right condition, it will sprout on its own. When one is in a hate and sadness, one gets access to the subtlest dimension, the Akasha, the ether, okay? This explains why ancients in India and elsewhere in the world amassed a remarkable amount of knowledge about the cosmos. They downloaded it from the divine. Mind can be in 5 different states. When the mind becomes conscious, Sadhguru states that in yoga there is no separation between the head and the heart. Both thought and emotion are part of the same mental body. The Yogi culture offers 2 ways to reach the ultimate state, becoming everything. The path of knowing or becoming nothing, the path of devotion. Devotion is not a section of life, but a total embrace. Devotees of the sweetest experience of life. The more you delve into life, you see that it is an endless and unfathomable process. If you simply sit here and breathe, you will know life better than through any deep analysis. So sadhana, which is a daily spiritual practice. Remind yourself now and then that everything that you are carrying is an accumulation. Soon this identification will start dawning. When you walk a tightrope, you have to be conscious and aware. Start with the physical dimension. You see straight line, start walking in alignment. Slowly bring precision to every movement and gesture. If you want to become a devotee, at least once an hour in all the waking moments, bow down to something. You can do it mentally too. Karma. Whatever we do with our body, mind, energies, with our body and mind, energies leave a certain residue that forms a pattern that collectively shapes into tendencies. So karma is like old software that you have written for yourself unconsciously. Karma, however, is not negative. It gives stability and structure to life, for the stored information is imperative for survival. Karma is encrypted on mental memory, fundamentals of body, your chemistry, your very energy. Efficient backup system, so that even if you lose your mind, you still do not lose your karma. For any transformation, one needs to break the cyclical patterns of karma. A spiritual process means we have made up our mind to rewrite our software consciously. When you experience everything that comes your way absolutely, when you experience every life breath with utmost intensity without distraction of thought, emotion, devoid of any psychological drama, you are liberated. You have moved from being a victim to a master of your life. Finally, Sadhguru addresses the question of why self-realization. The more profound your understanding of the human mechanism, the more you learn to access deeper dimension, and the more magical life will be. Why settle for only little health, well-being, wealth, love, and success when existence has more to offer? So that is the summary of this book. It was quite long, but take your time at the end. It once in a while to get perspective. That's it. Goodbye. Please leave a like and subscribe.